Cryptocurrency trading has drawn in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of brand new traders over the last couple of years. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why that is. Because there are something that professional traders, professional crypto traders, don't necessarily talk about, but in this video I'm going to show you how one trader made one trade that over the course of 90 days made him a millionaire. And not only that, I'm going to tell you how you can look out for the same thing and potentially do even better. Now, this involves what traders call altcoins. Now, there's a reason why traders prefer to trade altcoins as opposed to something like Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin itself has a lot of reasons to invest into, this video is going to illustrate why massive life-changing wealth doesn't necessarily come from Bitcoin anymore. It's going to come from the altcoins. However, Bitcoin is still involved in this story, as the trader that I'm about to illustrate has turned 1 Bitcoin into 20 Bitcoin in just over 90 days, which at the time of his trade was basically going from $30,000 to $1.2 million. And not only that, it could have been a lot more. I'm going to tell you how it could have been a lot more and how you can do the same thing. And so before I get into this trade, I want to point you to the link to my Patreon account in the description below, because there you'll find information about trade alerts, crypto news and analysis that can make you a lot of money. So go ahead and check it out after you watch this video. Now, many times traders prefer to remain anonymous when giving out some of the major gains that they've made, not just in the stock market world, but in the cryptocurrency world. Anonymity is preferred. So with this story, I have absolutely no idea who this actually is, but the story of how one trade made a millionaire is very relevant. So here's what happened. Back in July of 2021, Bitcoin was worth approximately $30,000. This trader took 1 Bitcoin, essentially $30,000, and took it and traded it for sand. Now, if you don't know what sand is, it is considered an altcoin. Sand is actually a metaverse token. The sandbox, as it is fully known, is basically a virtual world built mostly for gamers, but it's a virtual world where you're now finding tokenization of assets, including things like new virtual bank branches that are going to be popping up in the metaverse. There are several other altcoins just like sand, but nonetheless, this is the one that's typically in the news and making headlines. So July of 2021, sand was worth approximately 18 cents. It was trading for 18 cents. So this investor took 1 Bitcoin, approximately $30,000, and bought sand with said Bitcoin. Well, over the course of the next 90 days, Bitcoin continued to climb to its all-time highs. In fact, it went from 30,000 to just under 70,000, which is about 130% return. Now, that is a great return. In fact, that's an amazing return for any asset in any asset class. But if this trader would have just held on to that 1 Bitcoin, his $30,000 would have been worth approximately $70,000. Not bad. However, he didn't. He made this trade into sand. So what did sand do while Bitcoin was making all-time highs? Well, as a lot of altcoins do, it typically follows Bitcoin. But as a lot of altcoins do, it follows Bitcoin and dramatically outperforms it. Now, I do want you to keep in mind there are speculative nature to this. There are inherent risks involved in doing altcoin trading. But nonetheless, sand went to set a new all-time high of just above $8.50. This trader got out just before that for a return of, get this, over 4,000%. That is a 40x. So what he essentially did was take 1 Bitcoin, $30,000, and turn it into 40 times that, approximately $1.2 million, which is the equivalent of 20 Bitcoin at the time, since Bitcoin was worth just under $70,000. So with one trade, this trader took 3 months and turned $30,000 into $1.2 million. That's a great story, and this happens a lot more frequently than what most people know. Most traders don't talk about this. You don't see this kind of thing on the news. MSNBC, CNBC, they only talk about Bitcoin, they talk about Ethereum, they only talk about maybe some of the blue chip altcoins. And even a lot of the trading circles don't necessarily get into things like this unless you're in paid groups. Okay, now you're probably thinking, well, I don't exactly have $30,000 to invest in the crypto market. In fact, I don't have $30,000 to invest on a speculative altcoin that a lot of people have never even heard of. And I totally get where you're coming from. In fact, $3,000 for most people would be a stretch. But how about $300? What would that $300 turn to? Well, that $300 would have still turned into $12,000. That's not bad. Even $30 would have turned into $1,200. Not a bad payday. Now, this particular trade illustrates just how massive wealth is actually made in the altcoin world. If you've ever heard of the phrase altcoin season, there's a reason for that. If you've ever heard the term that real wealth is generated in altcoins, there's a reason for that. Now, there's a lot of reasons to own and hold Bitcoin, but if you're a trader and you're looking at it from an income perspective, altcoins is typically where you need to be. Now here's where you can do the same thing and how this trader could have actually earned significantly more. There are things called leveraged tokens. Now, you could have traded SAND, which they have SAND 3x long and SAND 5x long on a lot of crypto exchanges. What does that mean? Well, it basically means, now for instance, let's say you put $100 into SAND, you can do a 3x token and it basically acts like you've deposited $300 because you're borrowing that money from the exchange. You can do that on 3x, even 5x leverage. If this particular trader had used a 3x or 5x token, he would have made well over $3 million or well over $5 million on this particular trade. And with leverage tokens like the 3x and 5x, there is no risk of liquidation, so even the spot traders use these from time to time. However, there are exchanges in which you can go significantly higher on leverage. You can trade this, you can trade SAND, for example, for as high as 10x, 20, even 25x leverage. Now, keep in mind there are very inherent risks involved in trading altcoins with high leverage. There's liquidation risk. You could literally lose everything if you don't know how to manage it properly. Just keep that in mind. You want to make sure you do your due diligence. You want to make sure that you learn how leverage trading works or how any trading altcoins work before jumping into any of this. So this video was just to explain how in a very short period of time, making the right call at the right time can make significant wealth in the crypto space. Now, there are a lot of people that are extremely bullish on Bitcoin and its next move up. This is the time period when you should be looking at and doing your due diligence and looking at these low and micro cap altcoins, because a lot of people believe that this is where massive wealth is actually created. Even if Bitcoin goes up to $200,000, that's going to be a great gain. However, some of these altcoins are going to vastly outperform it. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind. If you've ever wondered how crypto traders do this, make a living on a daily basis without significant bankrolls, well, sometimes this is how they do it. Looking for altcoins that give them significantly more and better returns than something like Bitcoin or Ethereum does. All right, guys, once again, please check out my Patreon in the description below, where I give out alerts and analysis for a few bucks a month. I'd appreciate you checking it out. And if you did enjoy this video and the information contained, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe to the Late Night Grind community. I cover cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all those topics interest you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.